What's up, everybody? Appreciate you for tuning in to Sideline to Sideline. You know, the show where we get you ready for Thursday night football. Got Vikings Chargers tonight, but we got a lot to talk about even before we get to that game. But right here below, well, I guess I should do the G thing. There we go. Upper left hand corner, got Godfrey, the Godfrey. How you doing tonight?
Can't complain, always here to happy to talk football. Best sport in the country, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely. Uh, then right corner, not guarding the two, he's guarding the three. Brett, how are you doing?
Oh, I'm doing great. Crazy day in the sports world to keep up with for sure today. So I'm looking
Mhm.
forward to talking about some football today and a little bit more craziness later tonight. It's going to be a good night. So let's get it.
Is that shit even real? That's going on. Like I'm like almost like I don't know.
The betting stuff?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
it's very real.
it's very real. Yeah.
Well, what I mean is there's an indictment, but I don't know. I'm not gonna get political on here. It's just I don't know. Something's interesting. But if it's usually with the FBI, they're watching you for a while. So
hmm
Apparently, this is a case that they've been studying for 2 years now. So apparently, they've been watching this stuff for a couple of years now.
mm,
hmm Yeah.
makes no
Um,
sense.
They just got to hire a better. They just got to hire a translator next time. Take the fall for them, That was their
right.
rookie mistake.
No,
But they,
the old Otani conspiracy.
right. But look, that for another show for another day. We have some NFL action to get into. But let's get into some of the drama with some of these teams. Let's go out to Sean Payton, Russell Wilson. We all know Giants Broncos game, which was crazy. Giants looked like they were in control. Then the Broncos stormed back with 33 points in the fourth quarter. That's like some Madden stuff right there. Sean Payton made some news after the game when he decided to take a bit of a shot at Russell Wilson, which he later said, "Oh no, you misunderstood me. That's not what I was talking about." It's like, all right, Sean, we definitely got you. But let me pull up the comment and actually, get it out there because Russ Wilson normally doesn't say a lot, but this time he was like, "Nah, we're not letting this go." What's going on, Jory? What's up, Anthony? So here we go.
So you know how mad you have to, make Russ for him to
Yeah.
actually comment on something like this? Like you could tell he was pissed as soon as he
Mhm.
tweeted that.
Which I feel like, should be. So Payton basically said, we were hoping that the quarterback change from Russ to Jackson Dart would have happened long after our game. That's the big headline from Payton. Wilson called him
I
classy.
mean, is he telling lies? I,
I
I see
mean,
no I see no lies detected. I see no lies detected here.
it just seemed like there was no point in, bringing up Russ when we all know he was benched. We know you didn't want him in Denver. We get that you don't like him. He just had the comeback, even though for a lot of that game, that Broncos offense looked horrific. But now it's just like you're just kicking them down because you got the win. Would he have said this if they lost? Probably not. He probably wouldn't have. I don't know. I don't know what he would have said, but we know he wouldn't have taken that shot if they came back and if they didn't completely come back and lost. So Wilson called him classless, brought up Bounty Gate. He said all these years later, Bounty Gate, whatever. Then he said, "Let's ride," because Russ has to throw in his own little, spice on it.
And then you're no longer rooting for him anymore after that. You're
Or
like,
he said, "Didn't
you're like,
realize
leave Russ alone. And then
15 plus years later through the media." That was Russell's direct clapback. So, thoughts?
You know what my biggest problem with that is though? Like, it's Sean Payton coming out like the next day and going, "Oh well, yeah, I wasn't talking about Russ." Like, nah, you were clearly talking about Russ. Like,
Yes.
at least stand 10 toes deep if you're going to take a shot at Russ like that. You can't just backtrack when you're just blatantly talking about the other person like that. You could have easily complimented Jackson Dart without bringing up quarterback changes and including Russ. So
Yeah.
I actually don't care. I do like a little drama with my NFL season, but like Sean Payton, if you're going to call somebody out, stand 10 toes deep. Don't backtrack the minute you get called out. Come on now.
Right.
Good old I mean, Sean Payton's always been a piece of crap. Let's just call it like it is. But at the end of the day, can't really make any excuses for this guy. You know what I mean? It's like, but he didn't tell any lies, though. He didn't tell any lies. Most teams would want to face at this point Russell Wilson instead of Jackson Dart. It may have been a bad taste, perhaps it may have been. You know, I don't know. He likes to take little shots like that every now and then, so I'm not surprised. I don't really like rooting for Sean Payton. It's not a favorite of mine, so I'll leave it at that. But I don't know.
That's fair.
I do know that I
Seems
did
like
bet on the
I feel like he does have some people in the media that do love him a lot. I was listening to Colin Coward, like he's all over Sean Payton now.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, even go ahead, sorry.
No, good. I mean, yeah, it's I don't know, man. I just feel like at the end of the day, like just shut up and coach.
Right. No, exactly. I mean, even looking at the game, because we could talk about the game for a little bit.
He just tries to be cute and funny and like, just shut up and coach, dude. Shut the fuck up. No one wants to hear you.
Right. So looking at the comeback, where do you put more of the blame on it with the Giants, Dart, Dayball, or do you just put all the credit on Bo Nix, the offense, finally waking up, and maybe some inexperience from the Giants? Like, where does it sway for you in that wild and crazy finish?
You know what? It feels like Shane Bowen called such a bad fourth quarter that Giants fans might be pointing the FBI his direction to see if he threw that game. That was just bad coaching. And that's kind of where I'm going to put most of the blame on this one, right? The players have to play, obviously. But I think that Shane Bowen, he went into, prevent defense too early. And the problem with that is it allowed Bo Nix and the offense to get into a rhythm in the last, 5 minutes. Now, that's just still an absurd comeback to make down, 25-8 with 5 minutes to go. But it just felt like a game, well, you went away with what was working too early. You got into this like cover prevent defense rushing three. And during the most important play on the field, you didn't even have Abdul Carter or Dexter Lawrence in the game. So, like, to me, while the players obviously should share some of the blame, a good amount of the blame, I think most of this just has to fall on just poor coaching and just decision making. On the Broncos side, they're just super resilient. All the credit in the world to them. They pushed all the right buttons that fourth quarter, and they never gave up, while the Giants just pressed every single wrong button you possibly could have and just blew that game. So it's absolutely just a mix of both of those things coming together.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny you ask because I felt a momentum shift, and I live bet the Broncos to win. And that was probably toward the end of the third quarter because I felt like the Giants took their foot off the gas as far as the offense. And I just saw the ability for it just felt like they could come back. Now, I definitely got nervous after, the Giants got that I don't know how legit did you feel that pass interference call was toward the end of the game. Very ticky-tacky, I thought. But they called it, and I was like, wow, I thought I had a sweet live bet that was going to win. However, the Giants do what the Giants do of the last 6 years. And they missed the extra point. And I was like, at that point, I was like, I was tempted to double down on my live bet. I was like, man, missing that extra point. Is this a foreshadow of what I'm about to see? Right. And it just felt like the momentum switch, the defensive play that happened before that. Right. Wasn't there a pick six? Am I wrong? Or no, that was on offense. That was
There
on
was
offense.
didn't like Benito have a pick
Yeah.
late in the game? Yeah.
Yeah. Benito got that pick. There was a lot of stuff going on that I felt like, okay, this points toward the momentum going the other way. But, after that happened, I was like, oh, they're done in the water. For them to be able to give up that, and be in a position where they can lose it with a field goal, that is heartbreaking as a team. And I think unless the Giants have a stellar finish to the season, Brian Dable will be gone as their Giants head coach. After that, I have seen enough.
Mm-hmm.
He is not a head coach. He might be a good offensive coordinator. They're having some success with Jackson Dart. Yes. But I'm also going to have to point to Daniel Jones being playing all world right now on the Colts, commanding the lead in that division. So I don't know, man. Like I kind of saw that game coming. I didn't see the ending coming. I was hoping for what the ending was, but I didn't see it playing out like that. And because, once it just seemed, I don't know. I don't think the Broncos are that bad. I'm like, man, they're just steamrolling people,
Mm-hmm.
and they just lost their momentum. I just think it was the pick. And then I was like, oh man, I gotta get in on this action. I think it was like plus 245 when I hit the bet.
Yeah, not bad. So Brett, Godfrey did kind of bring this up, so I'm going to ask you this: with Daniel Jones' success in Indy, and with what we've seen from Jackson Dart, should the Giants move on from Dayball, or should they maybe give him another year with Dart, because you have seen like a little bit of a, I guess, improvement in his game?
So, if they're going to move on from Brian Dable, they should just do it after this year, right? You just kind of want to rip the Band-Aid off. You don't want to get Jackson Dart too comfortable into a system with the lame duck head coach that you're going to get rid of in 2 years. That just doesn't make any sense.
Mm-hmm.
It feels like that he does need to have a stellar end to the season in order to actually make it all the way, to next year. So I think that his seat is really hot, and I think he still has a chance to, salvage it, but it would take an absolutely stellar end of the year. So I think it's very likely that Ryan Dable's in his last season with the New York Giants.
Okay.
That's what you hear. That's his head coach career. He could turn it around, right? I mean, it's possible. You get a playoff berth. I just don't know, man. I just don't. He doesn't give me the vibe of a coach that leads. Like I look at a Vrabel and I get that feeling, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where he commands leadership, and I look at Dable and I feel like he's a big man child, and that's the vibe I get off him with his demeanor, the way he acts. The way I see him, even on the what was it, Hard Knocks NFL. I just feel like there's a lot of situations where I just think he's got more of a coordinator vibe than a head coach vibe. I just don't think he has the talent for it. I mean, Jackson Dart is doing well, and he's supposed to work good with quarterbacks. I know that all wasn't his fault. Daniel Jones' lack of offensive line, things of that nature. Daniel Jones, I think, was ruined by that point. But you look at the Giants in general, like the Mariners just seem to hold on to a bad decision longer than any other organization in the NFL. Right? They don't want to be wrong. They're all in, and sometimes they just stick to their guns for way too long. It's a fan base that will trash their own team because they know they stink. So they expect, the Giants are far from grace. I will say to you though, I do remember sometime, although this coach had more success than Brian Dable, the first Super Bowl Tom Coughlin won. I'm pretty sure Kyle remembers that one. And when they went on that run through the playoffs, he was all about out the door, right?
Yeah, true.
And he won the Super Bowl and he won another one. And, and then he became a legendary coach. I mean, that was something where Coughlin was too much of a hard ass. Like you would be in trouble for being too early to a meeting, Michael Strahan talked about. So with that being said, maybe he's in the same position and maybe he pulls out. I do think that you're seeing signs of life from the team where the talent is able to perform actually because they have the quarterback. Now they can do that. I liked Jackson Dart coming out of college actually more than Cam Ward. I believe I said that on the show. People ask me why, and we're starting to see it now. So there's some juice to this kid. So, Married a coach to the quarterback, right? If they had some success, I think he should be fired, but they're not demonstrative like the team across the hallway is in the same stadium.
Yeah. Which we'll talk about them a little later.
Is it worse to be a Jets or Giants fan? I got to go Jets right now.
Jets.
Absolutely Jets. Yeah. So John says if they fire Dayball, do you move Mike Kafka up into the head coaching role? I guess interim basis. Yeah, sure. Long term, no.
Say I would move him up on like an interim basis, but I'm not really making him the permanent head coach right off the rip. Like obviously that he could show something, but also quite often these interim coaches they get this like nice boost after a coach gets fired, and a lot of the times they are fool's gold. Sometimes it works out, but more often than not, it just seems like it doesn't. So
I'm sticking with Kafka.
I'll just keep an open mind. That's all I'm saying. You move him up, and he can be in your coaching hire pool at the end of the year. But I wouldn't, completely fall in love with him.
Well, he still has a rapport with your quarterback, so your quarterback doesn't have to really start over if you're the Giants, if you keep him. 2, you're going to get him a little bit cheaper than you would get someone that's a brand name out there, so you don't have to commit 4, 5, 6 years to him. Maybe 2 to 3 years you can get, maybe a 4-year contract. But, so if you're going for a big name, you're going to have to commit a little bit more assets to it. As far as money goes, coaches don't affect the salary cap, but, there's going to have to be there's other things in there. So you can at least provide some stability for your quarterback that is on the upward trend, that if you go with a whole new program, you're starting all over again. So he says he was the main guy to work with Mahomes. True, but there was also a guy in there building named Andy Reid as well. So I would like to refer to him. And who also came under his tutelage. So I would go Kafka personally. If they do it, I don't see what you have to lose if you don't. And if you're going to make that move, make it now. I just don't think they're as demonstrative as the Jets to make that move in the middle of the season.
If they went outside the building, are the Giants an attractive job because of Jackson Dart, or is it one that you would hesitate to take because of kind of the other deficiencies that they kind of have on that roster?
I think it's actually a pretty attractive job. I think they have building blocks, right? And you got to build around those building blocks. So on top of Jackson Dart, you have Andrew Thomas, who has been arguably the best tackle in football this year.
Mm-hmm.
You have an Abdul Carter. You have a Dexter Lawrence. Like, there is talent to be had on this team. Now, obviously, the goal is you're going to have to start hitting on some of these back-end draft picks where I think that they sometimes struggle with, but I do think there is talent to be had and utilized to make this a, semi-attractive job. Like, you have pieces there as long as the front office supports you and make some right moves around, your foundational building blocks. Yeah, I can see this absolutely being an attractive job.
Mm-hmm. If Lamar comes back and still loses time again, we hear Harbaugh's name on the hot seat. I mean,
that seat should be on fire.
It should be. But look, this week they had the report that they took the ping pong tables and the video games out of the locker room, so I guess they're bought in now. And Lamar does seem like he's going to come back because I guess he practiced for the second day in a row. We'll see what
they weren't bought in before, huh?
I guess not. I guess it was the ping pong table and the video games.
Them dang video games, like your parents would always tell you.
Yeah. They took the Madden out and they're like, hit the practice field. It's ping pong's fault, exactly. John did ask about Tua's comments. I did forget about Tua's comments, but we can talk about that. So Tua was asked about Jaden Waddle's involvement in the Dolphins offense. And Tua, as we've seen the past few weeks, the man's an open book. He'll talk about whatever, players' meetings when nobody's showing up. So he went on to say that his height has limited his ability to see the field properly, which affects his decision-making and leads to fewer throws to Jalen Waddle. And he said that his visibility over the offensive line has been crucial for successful throws, and he expressed that he might not throw blindly out to Waddle. But what do we make of Tua, McDaniel, the Dolphins situation in general? And as John put it, should they not just put Quinn Ewers out there at this point?
They won't.
Say Quinn Ewers might be able to see over the offensive line, so it might be worth a shot. It's the funniest thing ever because we've seen quarterbacks smaller and shorter than Tua still be able to throw deep balls. Like Kyler Murray can throw a deep ball.
Mm-hmm.
You know, someone like Drew Brees, I don't think he was the biggest quarterback. He could throw a mean deep ball.
But Kyler Murray has to run outside the pocket to throw a deep ball. Or it's got to be a clean pocket. Like, I don't know if like they're sitting in that traffic. I mean, I don't know. I kind of get what he's saying, but at the same time, like, I don't know. This organization is also a dumpster fire.
No, absolutely. We've seen shorter pocket passers have to drop back a little deeper, but they can still throw a deep ball. It just feels like it's coming off like an excuse a little bit. Like, I get it. You're shorter. It's harder to see over the line. And that might limit you sometimes from throwing deep. But I've also seen, guess what other quarterback I've seen deep? Pre-concussion Tua throw deep over the middle. Like, you weren't too short a couple of years ago to throw deep balls to Waddle and Hill, but now all of a sudden you're just too vertically challenged to see over the line? Like, excuse me? Like, it just feels like it's an excuse because I've seen him do this exact thing he's complaining about not being able to do. Like, come on now.
Right. I mean, 2 years ago, Jalen Waddle had 72 catches, over 1,000 yards. Tua hasn't shrunk since then. I guess, unfortunately, he didn't get any taller. But now this year, 30 catches, 400 yards. So steep drop off in production there. He's too short, but he's 6'1". Give me a break. Is that what Tua's listed as? 6'1"? Tua doesn't seem it, but yeah.
I mean, listen, that offense has so much timing involved with it, right? Like, if the offensive line is off, if you could disrupt their patterns, I think it's a really easy team to defend, in my opinion. A really, really easy team to defend. And I just feel like if you can't get them in open space or break or the speed, I don't know. I feel like you have to design that offense for Tua to be efficient. They are typecasted as an offense because of who their quarterback is and isn't. And that's why you won't see evolution. So if I was Mike McDaniel, I would bench his ass. But the problem is the politics come into play. And since they just paid him a shit ton of money, they're not going to do that. Right? So, if I was him, I bench him. I don't care. Maybe for a game. I don't know. If he's not executing, this is where Mike McDaniels probably fails as a coach. And he has to make people accountable for their lack of production or performance. Right? I mean, maybe Quinn Ewers does have a better timing. Maybe he gets rid of the ball quicker. Maybe the height's better. I don't know. They are a finesse team. So how do you beat finesse? Physicality. I agree 100%. And if you're going to be a finesse team, you better have all the finesse available. They got, as the young kids like to say, they don't got any riz.
John brings up Wilson's bench making bank. His contract is a sniff at what that team brings in every week. There you go. I mean, look, if McDaniel is going to be out the door anyway, do you care about the politics at this point? Throw Ewers out there. If you frustrate the wrong people and they fire you a little earlier, okay.
Listen,
next coaching job.
If I get fired for that, but listen, man, they wouldn't let me make a coaching decision. I'm here to win. I'm here to win football games. I'm not the GM.
The main thing is Tua just needs to stop talking. It's like every week he's making headlines for some quote, and it's like you're not making enough plays on the field for us to know this much about what's going on. Like we've seen him kind of question play calling, player dedication because of a players only meeting that people didn't show up to. Now it's, oh, don't blame me for the interceptions. I'm not tall enough. It's like you've seen the defenders. We've seen some of those interceptions where you throw it directly at them. So were you just guessing on those or like what? What's the explanation for those? And the last time a reporter asked him about turnovers, he got mad about that. It was like, I don't have multiple turnover games. It's like you literally just had one. Oh, well, outside of that one, it's like, what? You've had plenty in your career, especially this season. So maybe the Dolphins kind of need to do away with both McDaniel and Tua, but unfortunately, Tua does make a lot of money. So he might have to stick around for a little bit, but his starting job should not be like concrete at this point, especially going to turn the ball over like he has this year.
Yeah, I would definitely give Ewers a try if you look good in practice. You got to see what happens at practice, but I would definitely do it. I don't care about this.
Yeah. All right, let's move to another team with drama. Talked about the Giants, and Godfrey said across the hall we have the Jets. Woody Johnson, Justin Fields. Obviously, Justin Fields has not played well. Last game he was pulled at halftime for Tyrod Taylor, who came in and threw a couple of picks. So not necessarily the best showing in that instance. I think Aaron Glenn said this week he knows who the starting quarterback is going to be, but he's not going to tell anybody right now. Which I'm like, if I'm an opponent, do I really care? Either way, neither one of them scare you as a defense. But Woody Johnson, after the Panthers game where they lost 13-6, 0-7, the last winless team, it looks like Aaron Glenn is turning around parts of it. It's hard when you have a quarterback with a rating that he's got, which rating, are we talking Madden rating, quarterback rating? Didn't specify, just said a rating that he has. I mean, he has ability, but something is just not jiving. But if you look at any head coach of a quarterback like that, you're going to see similar results if you were across the league. You have to play consistently at that position, and that's what we're going to try to do. End quote, Woody Johnson. How do you feel about that, Godfrey? You like the owner coming out saying that about your quarterback that you went out and got? Not like you drafted him and you're stuck with him. You went out in the offseason and pinned him as the guy to be your starter this year. What do you feel about it?
Needs to shut the fuck up. He just, dude, like every year, like Woody, you don't know shit about football, bruh. Like you own a team, you're a rich guy that owns a team. Great, you got a lot of money, but you don't know anything about football. I mean, sorry, me personally, I would have been just rolling with Justin Fields trying to fix it because the talent drop off. I know Justin Fields is huge. Like, what are you doing with Tyrod Taylor? Like, come on. Like Tyrod's just collecting a paycheck at this point. He's brittle as fuck. Ty God's not going to do anything for you. So, I mean, they got Jordan Travis on the roster still. They have him on the roster. He's a 3rd round pick a couple years ago, wasn't he? I don't even know if they do. If they do, start him. You know what I mean?
Florida State.
Yeah, start that guy. That guy had a tore up knee, right? He was supposed to be good coming out of college. Give him a run. You know what I mean? If you want to do that. But Tyrod Taylor, what are we doing here? Like, if I'm a Jets fan, I'm like, every year I see a video where a Jets fan is tearing down or stuff like, I'm never doing this again. I'm done. I'm never doing this. Team sucks. They had this poor kid talking outside, and he's like, oh, it's awful. They suck all the time. It's more so when the Jets fans aren't in misery more than when they are. So I just feel, oh, he retired. Damn. Sorry, Jordan Travis. At least, what a wasted 3rd round pick that was. So, yeah, man, at the end of the day, I would give someone some run on it. Make a trade for someone. If you don't have a good, make a trade for someone. Like, are you just trying to tank for the next quarterback? Are we going tankathon for Manon? Like, almost seems like there was a little bit of ulterior motive. I mean, Justin Fields has shown signs of life this year. Maybe the coordinator's got to be better. Maybe they got to get on the same page. Quarterbacks do have bad games. I think it's a little premature. Yeah. Mason Rudolph. I don't know about that. Mason Rudolph, he probably runs like a 5.2 40. Come on. So you don't really have good receiver depth on the team. You have Garrett Wilson who's hurt. I would do a run heavy scheme with the ball, and that's the direction I'm going to go with that. I think at the end of the day, it doesn't make any sense and now the Tyrod's questionable. So you just look like a pure jackass because you're like, well, Tyrod's hurt, Justin Fields starts. Like, come on. Like, you know what? If you're a smart organization, and I'm going to keep using this word, you're not demonstrative, then you wait, you go through practice, you see what it looks like, see if it gets corrected through practice, and you make that call toward maybe the middle of the week. I know you want to install the game plan and all that and everything, but nah, man, have an open competition in practice. Whatever you got to do, have open competition for everybody. You're 0-7, okay? Like nobody's safe on the team, including the coach. I mean, at this rate, Aaron Glenn might be one and done. You know what I mean? And to be honest, he wasn't really a great defensive coach in Detroit. I mean, but they had the nostalgic Jets hire because he's a Jet. He loves to be a Jet. But the thing about being a Jet is it usually means you're a losing team. So I don't know. What's next? Rex Ryan comes back? Tell me. What's next? I don't know. They're just
Rex Ryan did kind of want the job.
Yeah,
there was another piece to Woody's comments, and maybe this speaks to Aaron Glenn. He says, I think the defense and special teams are doing better. Defense is pretty good. If we could just complete a pass, it would look good. So it's like he's giving Aaron Glenn credit for the defensive side of the ball. He's a defensive coach. So that probably speaks to some type of security. And like you said, maybe you have to look at the OC or whatever as to why it's not working. Because I agree. I feel like there is a starting quarterback in Justin Fields somewhere. You just have to. I don't know. I honestly don't know anymore what you have to do with him. But
I feel like
he could start in this league.
If he went to the Colts and worked with a coach like Shane Steichen, because we've now seen Shane Steichen make two guys that were journeymen at least look good for a season, and we'll say almost a half a season, Daniel Jones. I think if you get Justin Fields under the right coach, it might actually work. You know, Justin Fields wasn't horrible last year. And now it looks like the Steelers made the mistake of going with Russell Wilson toward the end of that season, right? I don't know, man. Like I've seen flashes of Justin Fields, and I see him make plays that just make you go like, oh my God, this guy's awful, right? But I don't get that Carson Wentz feeling from him, right? I mean, I don't know. It just what's the alternative? They're just grasping at straws right now.
Right. They only have two quarterbacks on the roster. It's him and Tyrod Taylor. They don't even have a third one active.
Yeah,
I don't know who's on their practice squad or anything like that.
You know,
Canadian Premier League.
They have Brady Cook on the practice squad.
There you go, Brady Cook.
Yeah, Canadian Premier League. He'd be MVP there. Don't even lie to yourself. But
I hate to break the news, but there is not a quality starting quarterback in Justin Fields. He can be a starting quarterback, but any quarterback in the league could be a starting quarterback. There's not a good starting quarterback in Justin Fields. I think he could be a spot starter or a high-end backup, but if your job is to win football games, you're not going to be making any real run with Justin Fields as your quarterback. And I think it kind of showed last year. He had the best coaching he had. He had Mike Tomlin, and he looked like a serviceable quarterback. He didn't look world-blown. He didn't look like a quality starter. He looked serviceable, which is fine. I think there's a lot of money to be made by being a serviceable quarterback. But the idea of Justin Fields being a high-end quality starter, that's gone. You can put him with Shane Steichen, and I think Shane Steichen can make him a serviceable quarterback too, but I think that's just all he is. If you're starting quarterback's Justin Fields, that's it. You're not going anywhere. You can probably eke out some wins. You can probably get yourself to a 500 record, but that's kind of what serviceable quarterbacks do. They don't win you games, but they don't lose you games either. So I think the idea of him being a quality quarterback, that's just gone. He doesn't like to throw into tight windows. His flaws are just very apparent at this time. So I think with all that I've seen, sure, he could be a starting quarterback, but he's more like a placeholder quarterback while you're blue chip prospect is ready to start next year. Catch my drift.
I just don't know why the Jets didn't have a better plan for him to get implemented in New York. I don't think when I look at it from afar, he's an experienced quarterback, but that he's kind of on the fringe of being a starter possibly, right? So what's the plan? Surround him with talent. They did lose. Here's the thing though. They did lose a really big piece on the offensive line at the beginning of the season, correct? Was it their left tackle or right tackle? I can't remember.
I gotta remember back. They did lose somebody on that line. Hold on.
Who is the guy that's always hurt? Oh man, I can't remember his name. Anyway, sounds so unknowledgeable right now, but you guys, what I'm talking about. It's the main tackle they took in the round, and I believe it's a first round pick. They've
Well,
had
they lost Elijah Vera Tucker.
Elijah Vera Tucker. It's a big loss, right?
Yeah, the guard. Yeah.
Yeah, huge loss. All right, especially on a team that was going to run the ball a lot. So you see the people overlook the guard. I mean, look at the Eagles with no Mekhi Becton. What kind of production are they getting from the run game right now? Not a lot, right? So did they really successfully replace that? I don't know, man. The Jets just feel like they throw shit at the wall and hopes it sticks.
Oh yeah, this isn't all on Justin Fields. This is definitely just the Jets' problem of not having a plan in place. But
Nathaniel
isn't that
Hackett.
kind of? Yeah, Nathaniel Hackett's just terrible. But that's just kind of the Jets' MO at this point. Just pray it works out, and we'll plan later.
Right. So, question: if you were running the Jets in the next 3 to 4 weeks, would you continue with Justin Fields? Would you call the Giants for Reverend Jameis or Russell Wilson? See which one's available. What would be a better option to you?
I would call the Cowboys about Joe Milton. It doesn't make sense for them to go some veteran stopgap quarterback, because if they're doing that, just throw Tyrod Taylor and his bum knee out there if you just want a body to survive the rest of the year. If you're going to make a trade, just try to swing for a young quarterback that might have some potential. And if it doesn't work out, the draft's right there for you next year.
I'm trading everything and rebuilding and getting all the assets. And next year's supposed to be a quarterback-rich draft and getting someone from the draft. I mean, at 0-7 already, they're 0-7, right?
Yep.
I mean, the season's lost. There's no playoff hope. Are they going to rip off 10 out of 11 wins? I highly doubt it. Right. So maybe do that. Maybe get like a Joe Milton, something like that, so people could continue to develop. But I mean, Will Levis, yeah. Man, you're going to talk about a guy that the Canadian Premier League doesn't even want him. That's your guy right there.
Jory's willing to give him away for like a tennis ball at this point.
I didn't even know he was still around.
He's on IR. But yeah, I mean, look, I think the Jets, I guess they took a swing with Justin Fields. They're gonna whiff badly. But this is also an organization that did draft Zach Wilson not that long ago. So are we even sure they're going to draft the right quarterback in the draft this coming year?
No. I want to draft Zach Wilson's mom. Hey yo.
It's the Jets. They'll probably draft like a tight end and just trade for Graham Mertz or something so ridiculous that you won't see it coming.
Yeah. Well, hey, that's the Jets' problem. But look, let's go ahead and get into some of the bigger games from last week before we get into tonight's game. So look, the Bengals started last week with a Thursday night win over the Steelers, 3-4. The Steelers are 4-2. Even though all the attention is on the Ravens and Lamar coming back because they are still the favorite to win that division. The Browns are also coming off a win over the Dolphins, but we just talked about the Dolphins are, folding up shop at this point. What do we make of the AFC North? Are the Ravens still the favorite in your eyes with Lamar coming back? Because that would mean you don't trust the Steelers and you don't trust the Bengals. Brett?
Is Lamar Jackson going to play linebacker and get some stops? Because if not, then the answer is no. And that's the problem. The problem isn't the offense. The offense with Lamar Jackson dropped 40 and the defense couldn't hold the lead.
Mm-hmm.
That's just kind of the problem. Their defense can't get stops. The only way Lamar Jackson is going to, obviously he'll help the offense, but the only way the Ravens are helping with the return of a Lamar Jackson, they go Lamar Jackson, the cornerback, to help the defense. But I think Lamar helps because you can control the clock and run the ball more. But I don't know if he necessarily just saved the Ravens just because that defense is so putrid that I just don't see it. Could they sneak into a wild card? Lamar's talented enough, he might drag them there, but I don't think they actually come back all the way and win the division. Their defense can't stop a basic run, pass, or just anything. So I don't think they win the division. Lamar might drag them to a wild card, but they're not coming back to win the division.
So are you taking the Bengals or the Steelers to win it?
You know what? I'll stick with old man Rodgers. I'll stick with the Steelers.
Godfrey?
You gotta pick Steelers or Bengals or Ravens or Browns. Oof.
Go bold Godfrey, pick the Browns.
Hell no. Hell no. Oh man, shit. I would probably go with, it's just weird how like the Bengals came out there, Joe Flacco, and just busted Pittsburgh's ass, right?
Mm-hmm.
I just feel like Pittsburgh has this problem. They just show their age at certain points, and it just ain't gonna happen. You know what I mean? The Ravens can't stop anybody, but like it's just becoming this division is just becoming Swiss cheese. So I'm gonna go with the Ravens to rate the ship and win the division.
Okay. So nobody believing in Joe and the Bengals. Joe Flacco and the Bengals. Okay.
Yeah, I mean you just need a pass rush and it's over for that. So I mean,
hey, he showed the legs against Pittsburgh when they tried to rush him.
Hey, he had that read option.
Yeah. I'm sure he was surprised by the call, but yeah, that was an interesting moment there.
I'd say they said they had that in their playbook forever, and they just didn't expect him to actually keep it. So he made the call to keep it.
He's a confident quarterback.
Mm.
All right. Want to look at the NFC West as well, because this past week the Niners beat the Falcons. I think a lot of people were thinking the Falcons might have been up to the challenge. They clearly weren't. The Rams beat the Jags, and the Seahawks, who they beat the Texans. So they have 3 teams 5-2. Which team do you believe in the most going forward in that division? I guess who's the best team in the division out of those 3? Obviously leaving the Cardinals out of this because, spoiler alert, the Cardinals aren't that good again. So who do you believe in the most in the NFC West right now?
You gotta. I'm going with the Seahawks. I like what that defense is doing. You got a linebacker with 3 interceptions.
Yeah.
Sam Darnold's throwing some dimes. I'm going with the Seahawks to win that division. I think it's clear.
Okay, Brett.
I'm gonna agree with Godfrey on this one. Sam Darnold and Jackson Smith and Jigma are just a lethal connection together. I love the run game with Walker and Charbonnet. And the defense just has always seemed to show up for them. There's been a lot of talk, obviously, with struggles with guys like Tariq Woolen, but overall, the defense has been solid for them. I think that's going to be enough for them to win the division. I think their biggest rival is obviously going to be the Rams.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what? I've seen enough. I'll believe in them. I'll take the Seahawks.
Okay. John says the Rams. That's not a terrible pick. I'm actually on the Seahawks bandwagon as well. Like I said before the season, they were a team to watch in that division because I just think Mike McDonald, who left Baltimore to take that head coaching job, and we're seeing with him gone what the Ravens defense has turned into.
Took the defense with them, pretty much. Yeah,
pretty much. And the Seahawks defense, like they get after you. As Jory put, the defensive line is scary. Brett, as you alluded to, and Godfrey as well. Darnold's playing well, and JSN has emerged as a legit number 1 in that offense. So I think they're probably the best team right now. The Niners are winning, but there's still injury concerns. There's still, I think, the hesitation to like fully buy in on Mac Jones. Plus, Brock Purdy is coming back pretty soon. So, yeah, I think it's kind of the Seahawks division to lose. Even though the Rams will give them a good run because Matt Stafford is playing well also. All right, let's go to Indy. Colts come off a win over the Chargers 38-24. Simple question. Are the Colts the best team in the AFC? Or do you want to go even further and say they're the best team in football right now?
No.
No to both?
They're the best team in the AFC
Okay.
South. I mean, For all the AFC,
Yeah, if they're not the best team in the AFC, who do you have as the best team in the AFC?
I mean, look, let's go over the list real quick. All right, Miami, they had a good game with Denver. Got to give them credit. Tennessee, right? Did they lose to the Rams or they won? I can't remember. I think
They lost that. That's the Adonai Mitchell game where he didn't want to carry the
Right.
ball over the goal line.
they beat the Raiders, right?
Mm-hmm.
They beat the Arizona Cardinals, and now this game was a little more telling. They were pretty damn dominant in the Chargers game.
Mhm.
Best team, no. Contender, yes. I would
Okay.
not have them as the best team yet. No, I need to see them have. I need to see a little bit more.
Okay. Brett?
Whew. Best team in the NFL? I would say no. Best team in the AFC? I think they're in that tier. I think they're creeping up on that tier, right? When
Okay.
it comes to the best team in the AFC, obviously we always talk about Buffalo, and obviously the Chiefs don't have a better record than them, but their offense has been finding their footing, which always makes them dangerous. But that being said, with the way they've played, I don't know how much longer you can keep them out of that tier. So I personally think that if we're just ranking it through the first 7 weeks here, yeah, I think it's fine to put them on the same tier as the best teams in the league right now. Do I think that they're the best? No, but I do think that they've definitely earned the right to be named with your Bills and Chiefs when it comes to this particular season.
Yeah,
Coach
I'll
of the
take it.
year, Vrabel, because Pats were trash last year and Colts was middle of the pack. I think Vrabel has turned more around. I mean, I guess for John's question, would you take Vrabel as coach of the year right now?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, absolutely.
100%.
When they haven't won 4 in a row in a long time, and he's got them playing football. It's I'm sorry, man. I know a lot of people felt bad about Jerome, but it's light years better. It's light years better. They made the correct decision. It was decisive and quick, and they're showing already why. I mean, listen, Vrabel is going to whoop Tennessee's ass this week.
No, they have the Browns.
Oh wait, the Browns. Sorry, they whooped their ass last week, right? That was they won pretty.
Yeah, they beat the Titans last week. They have Browns this week, which we'll see with that Browns defense if they show up.
Yeah, man. I listen. I think it's any way you look at it, I don't see how you couldn't be coach of the year for him right now.
I mean, there's maybe a couple of coaches who you could maybe make a pitch for. I don't know how much credit you may want to give Tomlin for the Steelers. A lot of people thought this was the year that they weren't gonna be that good. Look, in the division. I don't know.
We got a signature win against the Bills, who are the division leader.
Yes.
I didn't think they're gonna win that game. They won 4 in a row, and they're contending for the division. Year 1. I mean, right? Am I right? Like, as a diehard Patriots fan, Kyle, if I told you 4-2, what are they? 4-2 or 5-2?
5-2.
5-2 after the first 7 games. Would you have believed me?
Probably not. No.
Yeah. He's coaching above his head. Doesn't even have all the talent there yet. That's all I'm going to say.
It feels like coach of the year for me. It's Vrabel. It feels like it's going to come down at this rate to like Vrabel and Steichen. Culture Patriots are probably going to be the last two standing for coach of the year. So that'll be a fun race to watch for sure.
I was going to throw even Canales with the Panthers. They're 4-3. Like if they finish above 500, I know Canales is not seen as a really good coach, but I guess you'd have to give them credit that the Panthers are competitive in that division. They are second place. They're a game behind the Bucks. I don't know. That might be a bigger story than Vrabel in New England.
Yeah. It could be. Not bad.
Okay.
I mean, the Falcons, I think, are playing. Yeah, I mean.
Falcons, good luck figuring out what that team is. I mean, I know that on the road, they look like a completely different team than they do at home. Penix, I think the jury is still out on him, especially after the game against the Niners when that offense was nothing but Bijan Robinson. That was their offensive game plan. Bijan Robinson. And the Niners stopped it.
Awful game plan.
Yes, absolutely. All right, let's look at big games for this week. Like I said, we'll leave Thursday night for last, but looking at the schedule, I mean, where's all right, okay, we talked about the Ravens earlier. They face a Bears team this week. Are we buying enough into the Bears to believe that they can go into Baltimore and kill the Ravens' dreams of, riding the ship because Lamar comes back? Are the Bears good enough to stop that momentum from Baltimore?
I'll say,
You trust Caleb to slice that defense up?
I mean, all right. First off, John, no, Dallas is not going to go and get Max Crosby. They wouldn't pay the better player, Micah Parsons. They're not going to pay Max money. Number two, absolutely, I trust them to slice up the Ravens defense. At this point, I trust almost anybody to slice up the Ravens defense. The Ravens defense hasn't shown me enough that they can prevent, getting decimated unless they just happen to be facing the Browns in week 3 or whatever that was. So the only thing that they've shown the Ravens is they're bad. They're awful. They're one of the worst defenses in the league so far. So I absolutely trust Caleb to go in there and slice up that Ravens defense. And it's really up to them to show us something at this point. Go out there, make a statement against the Bears, do what you gotta. But as of right now, yeah, why not? Caleb could go absolutely torch the Ravens without an issue, it feels like.
All right. Godfrey, you trust in Chicago to go in there and win? You do believe that the Ravens could win the division? I feel like you're going to assume that this is a game they have to get.
So they got it. I could see the Bears winning this.
And if the Bears win, would you change your thoughts on the Ravens winning the division? Because they would be 1-6 at that point.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I mean, it's really going to tell, like, is Lamar going to mail it in? Like, I mean, I feel like this is going to be the season where John Harbaugh gets fired.
Okay.
Because it's just going to be one of those things where, hey, man, like, what else is there left to do? Right? You're not going to get rid of Lamar. I don't think Lamar should be getting rid of. I just think, what are you going to do at that point? I mean, I think they're going to start mailing in if they lose this game. They're playing as a desperate team, but I just don't see this. This team has never had the ability to win when they had to. Right? I mean, I haven't seen that. Like, I haven't seen. I mean, they would have had 1 or 2 games here, but this is a backup. You're going to see what they're made of in this game.
I think that's a fair assessment, and I agree with you. Like, I don't think they're going to come back and win it, but if they don't look any better against the Bears and they lose to the Bears, I think you put a fork in them. I think they're done. Like 1-6, you probably would need to win. Let's say even 9 games wins that division. Like they're gonna have to go 8-2. You think that team's really gonna fight and claw their way to an 8-2 record to finish the season? Probably not.
Nah.
All right. Another matchup. All right, Brett, we'll go to the matchup that's close to your heart. Packers going to Pittsburgh to face the Steelers. Obviously, the drama with Aaron Rodgers being involved. I know I heard Gene, I think this morning, saying he wished it was the other way and Rodgers was going back to Green Bay, but hey, schedule is what it is. Like, who do we see winning this one? How do you feel it plays out? Does Aaron Rodgers have a good showing against his former team? Does Jordan Love show that he's the better quarterback and the Packers run away with it? Because we've seen the Steelers defense have issues with wide receivers.
I think that this is going to be a very close game, and both teams are going to attack in kind of different ways. The Packers have liked to, be a little more aggressive and push the ball down the field. That being said, Aaron Rodgers has been one of the quickest quarterbacks at just getting the ball out. And this week he's going up against a defensive line that has been performing just phenomenally for Green Bay so far. So I think if the Packers want to, win this game, they're going to have to be a little more aggressive in their coverages. They got to get up, and, they got to defend these short routes. That's going to leave them open to some one-on-ones, and that'll be a big challenge too. DK Metcalf has been incredible for them. But that being said, I'll still pick my Packers to win this game. I think it's going to be a bit of a higher scoring game because their quick game attack has kind of been the Achilles heel of this Packers defense, and I think Rodgers is going to exploit that. He's going to throw – Nate Hobbs is going to see a lot of action thrown his way. But like I said, I'll still give it to us say 27-24. I think this will be a great, fun back-and-forth game, though.
All right. Godfrey, how do you see it going?
Remind me what game?
Steelers, Packers.
Packers at Steelers. Sunday Night Football.
Overhyped game in a week. So I just hope the Packers don't do a little 40-40 tie dance again. That would suck because that's lame. But I think man, Pittsburgh, it's in Pittsburgh, so it's a little bit different. I think Aaron Rodgers is going to be motivated to win. The one thing that I know Aaron Rodgers plays for the most is his ego. So he's defending his ego here. This is the main reason why he's playing the game and the main reason why he's still playing with Pittsburgh, right? He didn't want to go out looking like that last year, having a Brett Favre-esque season on the Jets. And he went back to the Steelers. So I do think, I want to say, yeah, the Packers could win on the road, man. But dude, they're like, people talk about the Falcons. Like, who is that? Who are the Packers? 1 week people are like, oh, they're here. They arrived. Micah gives them all the juice. And then the next week you're like, what the hell just happened? And then, so it's just, the Browns, it's like, what? And, it just, you don't know. So I think Micah definitely gets a sack, but I'm going to go Steelers here. I think Steelers win because they got the home field advantage. It's a slight edge.
Who are the Packers number 1 in the NFC? That's what we are.
Right. I would probably take the Packers. I feel like I trust who the Packers are a little bit more than I trust the Steelers being this good right now. But I think it's going to be a great game. Like Godfrey, you said it. Bright lights, a Sunday Night Football. Rodgers is going to try his best to put on a show because he would love nothing better than at the end of the game to be walking towards the middle, dapping up Jordan Love with a win under his belt. But I think Love and the Packers get it done. All right, let's go lightning around on a couple of games and then get into Thursday night and we'll get out of here. Eagles, Giants. Can the Giants bounce back from that horrible loss and take down an Eagles team, or do the Eagles exert some dominance and show why they're the class of the NFC East?
Nah, Eagles are going to be out for blood. The Giants are going to be exhausted after that emotional game that they just had. Give me the Eagles in this one.
Yeah, give me the Eagles. I guess I'm biased. You see my hat, but divisional team, they're not sneaking one past them again this week. That was a tough time for me that night. The Dodgers finished the Phillies off, and then I was like, what the hell is happening here? I felt like Vince Lombardi. What the hell is going on here? You know what I mean? So yeah, and I think the Eagles are going to exact revenge.
All right. Yeah, I think the Eagles win as well. Do the Jets get their first win at Cincinnati?
No.
Say no.
Hell no.
Okay.
They're tanking at this point. Come on. They ain't doing nothing.
They got to get that number 1 pick.
I think it's a fun game. Do the Jets win this week? I'll probably say no most weeks, but It might happen randomly.
I feel like it will, and it'll be the 1 week where we really don't expect it.
Right.
Like I said, I'm telling you, it's going to be that Baltimore game, and it'll be really funny.
Yeah. That'd be so funny for me. Bills go on the road to face the Panthers. Are the Panthers for real looking to go 5-3? The Bills coming off a bye. They limped into the bye. Do they get right and get their 5th win, or do we think the Panthers could beat them at home?
I think the Panthers are legit enough to be a wild card team in the NFC, but they're not legit enough to beat the Bills at home. So give me the Bills on this one.
I think the Red Rifle, Andy Dalton, will be starting for the Panthers.
Oh God, yeah, Bills by 70.
Okay.
The what?
The Bills going to the Panthers, where
Nice.
Andy Dalton is starting.
I'm not even going to analyze this Bills.
Okay.
It doesn't deserve even thought. Bills.
Yeah, we're just going lightning round.
Bryce Young, like slight chance. Andy Dalton, yeah, Bills by 100.
Cowboys Broncos. Everybody's been talking about that Cowboys offense. We know what the Broncos defense can be. Who wins that one?
You know what? Give me the Cowboys.
Okay. Godfrey, who are you taking? Cowboys or Broncos?
It's in Denver?
Yep, in Denver.
Nah, it's going to be Broncos.
Yeah, I kind of think the Broncos.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if the Cowboys did win. Like offensively, they're just cooking right now, and I've seen that Broncos offense look terrible. So
I'd say Broncos can't allow themselves to get down big like against the Giants because I don't think this Cowboys offense is going to let them back if they do that.
I agree. Last one. 49ers go to Houston to face the Texans. Houston, the team that, a lot of people were showing some love, and then they had a setback against the Seahawks. Who wins that one? And I believe Mac Jones is still starting.
Houston, but I'm not happy about it. I mean, not 49ers, but I'm not happy to pick them.
Okay. Scared me there. I thought you
Yeah, it's the 49ers, man. I just CJ Stroud just seems lost. That team seems lost. I really think until they get a running game going again that's steady, they're screwed in Houston. Point blank.
Yeah. All right. So Thursday night, and we'll get out of here. We have Vikings at the Chargers. Both teams looking to get back on the winning track. We know the Vikings have the Flores defense. They also have Carson Wentz at quarterback. The Chargers have some issues on the offensive line with injuries. I believe I saw somewhere like Alt could be back or something like that. Look at
He is back.
He's back. He's not on the injury report. So with that, how do you feel this game goes? You could tell me who you have winning it and maybe an X factor.
I think you just said I think the biggest part of this is Joe Alt is back. Yeah. You needed somebody to stabilize that line. With Joe Alt back, now I have more hope that the Chargers win this one. I think without him, then it's interesting. Then I think Brian Flores can confuse this offensive line a lot easier. At least Joe Alt gives them one solid piece that can just be an anchor. So, you know what? With Joe Alt back and the fact that Carson Wentz is the Vikings starting quarterback, I'll give me the Chargers.
Okay. The line is 3.5. So I guess you want to throw that into your prediction.
Yeah, Chargers cover the line. I think they win this one rather easily, like 27-13.
Okay. Godfrey, what do you think?
I think it's the Chargers. I don't know what the Vikings are doing. Like they should have JJ McCarthy starting. Like, what are they going to put him in bubble wrap the whole time he's out of college? They say he's not ready, but I don't know. I kind of call bullshit. And then what are you going to get with Carson Wentz? I don't know. I think he's not going to give you any juice. He's going to give you a few turnovers to the other team, and just with that alone, I'm taking the Chargers all day.
All right. You have a score prediction, or
did you see how awful that pick was that he threw to Jalix Hunt last week? That we ran back? Like that was probably.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna go. 31-17 Chargers.
Okay. I just looked it up. The Vikings, all they're saying is that JJ McCarthy is close to.
You know
How
what's close?
I don't know.
These nuts. That's what's close.
Problem with him just being close all these weeks is the NFC North is such a tight division, and the just NFC in general. So, close could also very well lead to them just kind of falling out of the race.
Did you guys hear that ESPN notification?
Yeah.
Adam Schefter is reporting that Kevin O'Connell's full of shit. Yep. Breaking news here. So,
I mean, look, maybe tonight is Carson Wentz's last stand. Because if they lose this, they do drop to 3-4. And maybe at that point you're like,
it's his
just gotta
well,
get
they're
some
not.
energy.
It's his last stand forever. There's never going to be another Wentz wagon again. That died years ago in Philadelphia.
Mhm.
This guy, listen, McCarthy, like, find out what the hell you have. Like, what do you mean he's close? Like,
close
what?
to injury return.
I don't know.
I don't know, maybe the short week they.
I mean, listen, I would think maybe
game.
if you didn't get Christian Darrisaw back, but he's active tonight, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Yeah,
full of shit.
Believe I.
Skull my ass.
Either.
Skull my ass.
Yeah. All right. I mean, I'm with you. I think the Chargers win tonight, but Thursday night football has been kind of wild. So,
yep, that's true.
That's kind of all we have. They did just kick off, so we'll give you all an opportunity to go back. I mean, to obviously go ahead and catch the game. Who started with the ball? All right, looks like Vikings are going to start with the ball. Yeah, so we'll see very early what Carson Wentz looks like. But appreciate all of you. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Say the first pass was a swing pass to the running back. That was about 2 yards behind the actual running back, if that tells you anything.
So it's not starting out great. So, yeah, we'll see how that plays out. And obviously, we'll be back next week to talk about that game and as well as week 8. Crazy that we're on week 8 already. But appreciate all of you for tuning in. Those in the chat, make sure you come back next week. Make sure you like, subscribe, follow, all that good stuff. And make sure you're here in the morning to – well, actually, wait. Brett, are you doing On the Ball tonight?
Well, yeah, you can check out the N1 podcast tonight with Mo and I. Will obviously be talking about all your scandals and all the upcoming, all the action from these past few days. So it'll be a fun time. Definitely tune in tonight.
There you go. So make sure you come back in a little bit for And One. Godfrey, anything you want to add before we get out of here?
No, Jets suck. That's it.
That's all you need to say.
Yeah.
So for myself, not guarding the 2, he's guarding the 3, Brett, and the Godfrey, we are out of here. Enjoy the game. Enjoy the weekend. And we will see you all back here next week. All right. Bye.